Hello students, today we are going to start a new chapter of your subject EVS, that is Environmental Studies, and the name of the chapter is Magnificence of Tree. What do you mean by the word magnificence, bacha? Magnificence means greatness, okay? Mahanta of trees. So we'll be learning about this importance or what are the magnificence of tree is, okay? Now students, why are we required to study की trees की importance या why these trees are great for us and why we need to protect them? बच्चा tree आपको कितना कुछ देते हैं? They give you so much. They are the most selfless beings in the world. Suppose maybe some of you may have this story of this woodcutter and of a tree. What happens one day a small child was sitting nearby a tree and he was crying कि मेरे पास toys नहीं है and I do not have any toys to make. So उसके पास एक जो tree था, उस tree बोला कि you can take the branches of mine and make a toys for yourself. So उसने वो ठीक है. Then उसने मुझे कुछ खाने के लिए नहीं. So he said कि मेरे पास जो fruits हैं आप वो ले सकते हैं. Okay. And ट्री ने बोला कि भैया मेरे फ्रूट्स ले लीजिए, आप उससे खा लीजिए. Similarly goes on. Ultimately, the tree was no longer, but the man has taken everything from him. Even his trunk was made and everything was destroyed of that tree. But वो tree ने happily सब कुछ उस man को दे दिया. Because trees are called the selfless beings. Okay, now students, this is why, because trees हमको सिर्फ oxygen नहीं देते for the breathing purpose, but they gives us many things also in return. They gives us fruits, they gives us this wood, they gives us medicines. They gives us so much thing that we should be grateful for them. So that as the nature has given this amazing gift to us. Okay, now you may be eating the cereals, vegetables. आप सब लोगों को ये कहाँ से मिलता है? ये सब trees से आ रहा है, From these plants, they is coming to us. So we will be learning in this chapter regarding the importance of the magnificence of trees. Now, students, in this chapter, the girl name is Gauri, and Gauri is seeing that कि उसकी मम्मा or her mother is observing a fast. What is fast? Vrat karna, okay? So she is observing a fast on the occasion of this Vat Savitri Vrat. On which occasion? Gauri की मम्मा ने fast रखा है, that is व्रत रखा है on the Vat Savitri Vrat. Okay? In Hindi we call fast as Vrat. Okay? And she was seeing कि उसकी मम्मा उसकी जो इनकी पूजा होती है, that is worship के लिए special arrangement कर रहे हैं. Okay? And so she asked her mother, गौरी ने पूछा अपनी मम्मा से कि is there any special kind of worship attached to this vrat? So her mother said कि yes, we pray or we worship banyan tree on the occasion of Vat Savitri Vrat. So students, in India, the importance of tree is so much that we have given a level of respect which we give to the gods and goddesses or deities of our country, of our culture. So हमने इतनी importance दे रखी है कि हमने इनको worship, that is we are worshipping them, because these trees are the only source of livelihood for many times or many generation in India. Because India is an agriculture based country जहाँ पे agriculture बहुत important है. So these trees are very important to us. So this was the answer given by this Gauri's mother कि हम Vat Savitri व्रत पे banyan tree की worship करते हैं. And she also told her that हम इसी तरह से और भी trees हैं जिनकी worship करते हैं on different occasions. So I'll be telling you that which tree is worship on which occasion now. ओके सो वट सावित्री व्रत पे हम कौन से ट्री की वर्शिप करते हैं? वी worships banyan tree. Okay, so we worship this banyan. Okay, sorry students, this is the wrong spelling, this is the right spelling. Banyan tree. Okay, now we'll be discussing the other trees. This on the occasion of this Amla Navami. Which Navami? Amla Navami. We worship Amla tree. Okay, so this is another example of our culture in which we are worshipping different types of trees. Similarly, on the occasion of Dasha Mata Vrat, worships people tree. Okay, so we are worshipping people tree on the occasion of Dasha Mata. Okay, so these are some examples which are given in which हमारे कल्चर में हम ट्रीज को वर्शिप करते हैं on this occasions. There are many more occasions. I'm just discussing some occasions with you. Okay, so you know it's not necessary कि हम ट्रीज की वर्शिप ही करें. It's necessary कि हम ट्रीज की रिस्पेक्ट करें, हम उन्हें कंजर्व करें so that these trees can be available for future generation also. Okay, because अगर हम इन ट्रीज की केयर नहीं करेंगे बच्चा, if we do not conserve them, what happens? They खत्म हो जाएंगे दुनिया से, and if they over, then ultimately the life of us also will be in jeopardy. That is, it will also be in danger. Okay, so students, so if we want to maintain a balance in the environment, we have to save the trees or forests. Okay, और बच्चा अगर हम ट्रीज को सेव करेंगे ना, if trees are saved, then all the organisms which live around us, around the trees, may also be saved. So we are not only saving one tree, we are saving the so many organisms which live around us. So now students will be discussing a conversation which is going between Gauri and her mother while her mother is preparing for the puja, that is for the worship. So the first question that the Gauri asked is why should we do the worship? Okay, क्यों हमें एक ट्री की वर्शिप करनी चाहिए? So her mother tell her, if this forests are destroyed, what will the animals eat and where will they live? Okay, अगर हम ट्रीज को डिस्ट्रॉय कर देंगे तो बच्चा आप खुद सोचिए, the animals, that is the lion, the bear, the monkeys that are living on this tree or around the tree, where will they live? They will not have anywhere to live around. Okay, and also what will they eat? Because this deer will be eating these trees and these plants, and if there are no plants and trees, then what the deer will eat? Okay, so that's how this is important for us to protect or worship these trees so that we can show that we respect them. Okay, so Gauri was very intrigued by this कि बहुत interesting उसे interest लगा. So she asked her mother, I have heard a lot about this Amrita Devi. Please tell me in detail about her. So her mother said, okay, I will be telling you about this Amrita Devi. So he showed her the story, and I will be telling you that story also. Okay, now, once a king of Jodhpur, a king tha Jodhpur mein, he was a king of Jodhpur, and he ordered his men, that is his soldiers, to cut down the Kijari trees. Which tree? Khejari tree. Okay, so he asked his men to cut this Khejari trees. और उसने पता है क्यों बोला कि भाई खेजारी ट्रीज को कट करी? बिकॉज ही नीडेड वुड फॉर द कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ हिज पैलेस. Okay, so that's why he told his this soldiers to cut this Khejari trees. Okay, now students, the people no, it's okay, they were able to cut this Khejari tree, but what happens where there's a large number of Khejari trees जहाँ पे थे वहाँ पे एक बिश्नोई community रहती थी. Which community? Name of this community is Bishnoi community is used to reside nearby the Khejari trees. And these people of Bishnoi community were the nature worshippers. What they were? They were nature worshippers. Let me write down. They were nature worshippers. That is कि वो नेचर को वर्शिप करते थे. दैट इज उसकी पूजा करते थे. दैट इज उसको लाइक हम जैसे आप राम, अल्लाह, गुरु गोविंद जी, गुरु नानक जी इनको मानते हैं. सिमिलरली दिस बिश्नोई कम्युनिटी के जो पीपल थे वो नेचर को मानते थे. दैट दे कंसिडर नेचर. So what happens when the king's men, that is the king's soldiers, started the cutting down this Khejari tree of this Khejari village? Okay, the Khejari trees were where? Near this Khejarli village. So I'll be writing where they were cutting this Khejari tree. They were cutting this Khejari tree at Khejarli विलेज. सो आप देख सकते हैं बच्चा उस गांव की कितनी इंपॉर्टेंस होगी इन ट्री की. उन्होंने अपना नाम भी ट्री विलेज का इस ट्री पे रख रखा था. ओके, सो अमृता देवी बिश्नोई, यू नो, शी एम्ब्रेस्ड द ट्रीज एंड सेड, बिफोर कटिंग डाउन द ट्रीज यू विल हैव टू कट मी. ओके, अगर आप ये ट्री काटोगे तो उससे पहले आपको मुझे काटना पड़ेगा. सो यू नो, the other villagers or other members of this Vishnoi community, you know, get very much, you know, inspired by the statement of this Amrita Devi, and they also embrace the tree to support her. But what happens, you know, students, after so much effort of saving that tree, but that cruel king's soldier, you know, cut Amrita Devi along with all the villagers that were holding down that trees. You know, bacha, to save this Khejari trees, how many people lost their lives? You will be amazed to know. 366 people along with Amrita Devi Bishnoi. So 363 people plus this Amrita Devi Bishnoi, that is 364 people, has sacrificed their life for this Khejari trees. Now students, you will be thinking कि भाई एक trees के लिए उन्होंने life दे दी. If you see that these people and we should give so much importance to the trees that these trees हम हमारी life भी sacrifice कर दे, then also we will not be able to fulfill what these trees do for us. Okay, so we should always try to protect these trees. So you know, इससे history में इस event से inspired होके, you know, the people started a movement called Chipko movement. Okay, let me write down the movement which was started by this inspiration of Amrita Devi Bishnoi and his followers regarding the savement or the conservation of this Khejari tree. They started a movement called Chipko movement. Okay, so they started a movement called Chipko movement. चिपको मूवमेंट क्यों कहते हैं? चिपको मीन्स टू एम्ब्रेस. इसका मतलब क्या होता है बच्चा? टू एम्ब्रेस. और टू एम्ब्रेस का मतलब क्या होता है? टू हग. ओके, आपको हग्स चाहिए होते हैं ना, ऐसे ट्रीज को हम हग कर लेते हैं और हम इन्हें छोड़ते नहीं है. ओके, सो दिस इज अ मूवमेंट दैट वाज स्टार्टेड by the inspiration provided by this Amrita Devi Bishnoi and his followers. Okay, now students, after learning about this story of this Amrita Devi Bishnoi, Gauri ने अपनी मम्मा से पूछा, Mother, why did people sacrifice their life to save the trees? So इस पे इसकी मम्मा ने रिप्लाई किया, बच्चा, people sacrifice their lives because tree gives us fruits, flowers, cereals, vegetables, wood, medicine and oxygen. Oxygen is needed by us to breathe. Okay, if there is no oxygen, हम लोग breathe नहीं कर सकते. And if we are not able to breathe, then we will die out. Okay, now students, you know, I will be discussing some things, interesting things with you. You know, which is a national tree, that is, which is a national tree of India. The national tree of India is banyan tree. Okay, but do you know which is the state tree of Rajasthan? Or our state tree of Rajasthan is? Our state tree of Rajasthan is Khejari tree. So let me write down. National tree of India and state tree of Rajasthan. So national tree of India is banyan tree and state tree of Rajasthan is Khejari tree. Okay, so this is a few facts that I want to discuss with you. Okay, now we'll be discussing in another heading which is called conservation of forest resources, that is ancient culture of Rajasthan. So I'll be writing the heading first, then we'll be discussing about this topic. Okay students, now let's go. Conservation of forest resources, or you can say ancient culture of Rajasthan. Okay, so students, what happens? One day this Bhavar and this Yogi Raj, they went to see a fair, and the next day they discussed about it in the class कि what उन्होंने उस fair में देखा. So you know, Bhavar said, I enjoyed this fair of a local folk god. Local folk god means बच्चा ये these are देवतास जो हम छोटे छोटे कस्बेस में उनको गॉड्स मानते हैं, उनको कहते हैं लोकल फोल्क गॉड. ठीक है. I saw a very huge glass lens and Uran near the fair. So this Yogi Raj, he asked, what is your grassland and Uran is? So I have seen many shrubs, many trees and uncultivated land. After observing this trees and shrubs, I found out they are not cut with an X. So Yogi Raj ne pucha ki how do you know all these things? So he said, this Bhavarlal, In my village, people do not cut wood from such kind of lands. For more information, we shall ask our teacher. So Yogiraj went and this Bhavar went to his teacher and asked him, Sir, kindly tell us about the grasslands and orans. So, this teacher, he said, dear students, since long the people of Rajasthan are aware of saving the environment. The land surrounding the villages is protected by naming it with the name of a local god, goddesses, or saints. This land is known as an Orion. Okay, so the teacher said कि भाई people of Rajasthan, that राजस्थान के जो लोग थे वो बहुत पहले से ही अवेयर थे कि हमें हमारा एनवायरनमेंट सेव करना चाहिए. So as we require to save our environment, what did they do? They allotted a particular type of land and they named it on a local god, goddesses or a saint. और फिर उस लैंड से आप कुछ कट नहीं कर सकते थे, कुछ खराब नहीं कर सकते उस लैंड को. ओके, एंड दैट पीस ऑफ लैंड, दैट इज दैट अनकल्टिवेटेड पीस ऑफ लैंड इज कॉल्ड ओरन. ओके, okay, now this Yogiraj, he was very curious type of thing. So उसने पूछा, sir, do the villages not cut wood from this land? So teacher ने reply किया, हाँ बच्चा, the villagers do not cut the wood from here. The reason behind the conservation of grasslands, grazing lands and oran is to raise respect for the environmental awareness in the local people. So Yogiraj ने फिर पूछा अपने टीचर से, Sir, the villagers also discuss the government laws related to these types of lands. So Yogiraj ने पूछा अपने टीचर से. So on this his teacher replied, yes Yogiraj, you are absolutely right. Grasslands, grazing lands and orans have been conserved by making laws by the Rajasthan government. Okay, due to the respect of local people towards this environmental awareness and the needs of conservation of the environment. So योगीराज के टीचर ने उन्हें बोला कि भाई हाँ, गवर्नमेंट ने लॉ बना रखे कि भाई कोई यहाँ से कुछ कट ना करे, उसे खराब ना करे, बिकॉज पीपल, जो लोग उस प्लेस को रिस्पेक्ट दे रहे हैं एनवायरमेंटल अवेयरनेस की वजह से. और दूसरी क्या जरूरत है, हमारा एनवायरमेंट कंजर्व भी हो रहा है. So that's why the government of Rajasthan has formulated some laws for the protection of these or such type of lands. Okay students, now we'll be discussing the next thing that Yogiraj said. Sir, grasslands, grazing lands and orans in rural areas are conserved due to the laws made by the government and the concern of the local people towards the environment. In the same way, forests in different regions are conserved through various customs and traditions in Rajasthan. Okay, now students, let me discuss one thing with you. This occasion of this, I'm telling you. So grasslands क्या होते हैं, बहुत बड़ी बड़ी grasses होती हैं वहाँ. Grazing lands वो lands होती हैं जहाँ पे आपके जो animals होते हैं वो वहाँ से grass खा सकते हैं. Okay, these are grazing lands. और orans क्या होते हैं? ओरेंस एक अनकल्टिवेटेड पीस ऑफ लैंड होता है जो किसी लोकल गॉड या गॉडेस या सेंट से अटैच है. ओके, सो दीज आर ओरेंस. सो इसके लिए गवर्नमेंट ऑफ राजस्थान ने लॉज फॉर्मुलेट कर रखे हैं. नाउ विल बी डिस्कसिंग अबाउट दीज इन थोड़ा और. सो दिस वाज अबाउट दिस कंजर्वेशन ऑफ फॉरेस्ट रिसोर्सेज, दैट इज एंशिएंट कल्चर ऑफ राजस्थान. स्टूडेंट्स, दे आर नॉट इन राजस्थान ओनली, इंडिया में बहुत से स्टेट्स ऐसे हैं जहाँ भी दे आर दिस टाइप्स ऑफ लैंड्स आर देयर. दे आर कॉल्ड सेक्रेड ग्रोव्स देयर. आप जानते हो हिमाचल प्रदेश में देयर इज वन सेक्रेड ग्रोव. आप जब वहाँ से बाहर निकल रहे होंगे उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया से, यू हैव टू डस्ट योर क्लोथ्स लाइक दिस. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट्स कंसिडर कि उस एरिया से वहाँ की डस्ट भी बाहर नहीं जानी चाहिए. So this is how we give importance to the nature, to our environment. Okay, so this is about this conservation of forest resources. Now I'll be giving you some questions regarding this. Okay, so you can do this question by yourself or you can take the help of your parents or grandparents. parents, or you may be your elder brother or sister. So let me give you some questions regarding it. First question is, okay, let me do this. First question. Which is our state tree? Okay. The next question is, what are the people doing to save the trees? Okay. Next question is, which plant or tree is worshipped in your region? Okay. The next question is, what is Oran? Okay. Next question is for you. What has the government of Rajasthan done to conserve the grassland, grazing land, and Oran? Okay. Last question is, paste the picture of Khejari tree and banyan tree in your notebook. Okay. So these are the questions that I'm giving you. The first question is कि भाई हमारे state tree क्या? I have given the answer to you. What are the people doing to save the trees? Next question is, which plant or tree is worshipped in your region? And the next question is, what is Oran? The next question is, what has the government of Rajasthan done to conserve the grasslands, grazing lands, and Oran? Next question is, paste the picture of Khejari tree and banyan tree in your scrapbook. So this, in your notebooks. So these are the questions that I am giving you. Please students, आप ये सारे questions try करिए अपने आप करने की. अगर आप नहीं कर पाते हैं, then you can take the help of your parents. But अपने आप करेंगे honestly, so you will be learn things that are always be in your minds. Okay. So this completes a chapter, that is magnificence of trees. Now we'll be continuing the other topics of this chapter, that is magnificence of tree.